Final Fantasy XV's boy band-like main cast is as recognizable by now as the car they ride around in. But who are these guys and what are they actually there for? This is Jason from Curse, and today we're going in-depth on 4 of the prettiest boys ever to start an adventure together. Noctus is the crown prince of Lucis who begins the game traveling to see through to his arranged marriage with Princess Lunafreya of Tenebrae. He is also the main character of the game and the only one the player gets direct control over. Because he is the player character, Noctus has a lot more versatility than the other guys. He can equip any weapon or spell and can be spec'd out in a number of different ways to suit your playstyle. Starting off, it's important to prioritize defense with Noctus since getting him killed means game over. He doesn't start off with a lot of HP, so giving him some HP boosting accessories or HP enhancing skills in the Ascension grid will help get you through some of those tougher fights. Practice using Noctis' Warp Strike and Point Warp to get yourself in and out of the fray quickly. A Warp Strike from a great enough distance can stagger enemies, and adding the Hang In skill on the recovery branch of the Ascension grid allows Noctis to regenerate HP and MP in relative safety while planning your next strike. Noctis' special skill is Fishing, which really counts as more of a hobby, but that's not so different from his friends. Fishing is a minigame that doesn't really come into play unless you wanted to, but you can unlock an ability that lets you gain AP for catching fish. Catching edible fish can also give you access to new recipes. And speaking of new recipes, Ignis is the calm, rational, mature voice of reason in the group. He'll be the first to tell you it's too dangerous to be driving at night, and he tries to keep the crew from getting too worked up over things. In battle, it's probably best to think of Ignis as a support character. He primarily uses knives as a weapon, but he is far from the heaviest hitter on the team, and that's okay. One of Ignis' most important early support skills is Analyze, an automatic version of Libra where he scans an enemy at the start of battle and identifies its strengths and weaknesses. This will help you identify a plan of attack even if it's an enemy you haven't faced before. It's also a smart idea to get the Regroup skill for Ignis early on in the Techniques branch. This can be a life-saving skill, literally. It calls all party members together in a defensive position, both recovering HP and healing party members in a dangerous state. Ignis is also the designated cook of the group. When setting up camp for the night, Ignis will cook a meal that provides some hefty stat boosts. Collecting new food items and ingredients unlocks new recipes which provide even bigger stat bonuses. Incidentally, cooking is Ignis' special skill, and he will gain experience in it each time he cooks something. Higher levels mean more elaborate dishes, which in turn means bigger stat bonuses, from HP increases to XP boosts. Some skills in the Ascension grid can extend the effects of Ignis' stat boosting cooking if you find they aren't lasting long enough. Gladiolus brings the muscle and is more of a straight-up bodyguard to Noctus than anyone else. He's a high HP, high damage tank who starts out using a huge greatsword. Because of the sheer size of his weapon, Gladio is great for groups of enemies as his large sweeping sword swings can damage multiple enemies at once. Many of Gladio's skills can make enemies flinch, including Reflex, an inexpensive early game skill for only 6 AP that acts as a counterattack. He can also learn Dawn Hammer, one of the most effective single-target attacks in the early game for anybody. Later in the game, Gladio can learn a number of skills that focus on protecting Noctis from damage. Royal Guard in the Techniques branch and Intercept in the Teamwork menu both involve protecting Noctis from an incoming attack with his shield. Because of the way his skills are staggered, it seems most effective to use Gladio for his damage output earlier on, then start using his situational defensive maneuvers as you unlock them later in the game. Gladios' skill is Survival. He will occasionally come up with healing items as you walk around outside. You level up this skill simply by walking around in the wilderness, and higher levels of it allow him to find more valuable items. Prompto seems sort of spastic compared to the other 3 in the group, but he does tend to liven things up when the mood gets too heavy. Prompto uses firearms as his primary weapon, and since he's a ranged attacker, you generally want to help him keep his distance from melee-type enemies whenever possible, especially since he has the lowest HP of anyone on the team. This also means Prompto is a good choice to equip with magic, since magic is best cast at a distance. It's helpful to get the first shot skill for Prompto as early as possible. Not only will that give him the initiative over nearby enemies, but it gives you a head start on filling the tech bar. Prompto's Star Shell ability is also useful when you're getting mobbed by enemies, as it briefly draws enemy attention away from you. Keep that in mind as a defensive option if you're having trouble staying on your feet. Later, in the same tree, he learns the much more useful Gravisphere technique, which forcibly pulls enemies together. This can provide a great setup for an AoE spellcast, provided your teammates are clear. Prompto's special ability is photography. When you sit down at a campsite or other rest area, you'll have a chance to look through the photos he's taken and save the ones you like. Prompto can even learn the skill Snapshot, which is a usable technique that tells him to take a bunch of photos during battle. This doesn't provide any particular advantage in battle itself, but it can be upgraded to give a chance to earn bonus AP. That's all for now, but there are far more techniques to be discovered and skill combinations to play with. Let us know how your party is working out in the comments below, and as always, enjoy the game.